my favorite topic these days.
Yeah.
Anytime you mention a traffic signal, we get all kinds of comments. But we have revised what we had asked you a couple of weeks ago to support the removal of that light. And what we are really looking for now is to concur that we take a look at the traffic signal at Cota Street and First, and really take a look at whether it is warranted and have an overall cast a wider net over this to see if that light actually needs to stay or if it can be removed, and then bring it back to the commission after we have studied that with our partners at WashDOT and come up with a conclusion to bring back to the commission.
So we're not voting on this tonight?
No.
Well, we are asking you
Thank you very
still
much.
to take a look at the letter that will be going to WashDOT, but basically what we had before was we wanted the support of the commission that they agreed that we would remove the light, and at this point what we're actually just looking for is that you concur that we take a look and study that traffic signal to see if it actually needs to be there or if it could be removed, and then we could have a further discussion once we take a look at that.
And in my staff briefing yesterday, we looked at the wording and we saw that at this point, we just want to know if this is something that is acceptable. We're just studying it to see if it's, we're not saying we're doing it or it's all done, but we have the letters written in a way to just ask if that is acceptable. Then we can revisit on whether or not we think it's what we want to do.
We really just want to understand why it's there. I've had quite a few phone calls this week.
1810, they put that light in and it's going to be there.
Yeah, I have not looked
Okay.
back into the history of that, but we have quite a few theories on why it's there. But really just trying to understand why it is there, and with quite a few phone calls this week and the complaints that came with that. We don't hear from everybody that thinks it's a great idea. We hear from folks that don't think it's a good idea. But my question to them was, think back over the last year or so out there driving, and when have you ever hit two signals in 2 consecutive blocks? And what I got was silence on the other end of the phone to come back and say, yeah, not really ever. So we really just want to look at that. And with the warrants, we have already started traffic counts. Those are quite a few of the warrants that you have to look at. Our AM PM peak hours and how much traffic's actually going through that intersection, pedestrians, there's some crash data that I'll have to get from Chief Moody to how many accidents we've had in that area. So there are some things to certainly take a look at, and that was our goal in the long run, was to look at this. We weren't just going to go and take it out as we did on 4th and Railroad. We had quite an extensive study by our traffic engineer, and that was really the direction that we were going with this signal also, is to take a wider look at it and see if it's actually needed.
There may be someone from the public who wants to talk about this tonight. This is the opportunity, so if anybody does, has anybody signed up to talk about this issue? All right, well.
I have all kinds of questions for Craig, but I'm going to say.
My goodness, are those all those yellow notes stuck all over your thing? Whoa. Okay, this is going to be an all-nighter, folks. Okay, go ahead.
But I'm going to shorten it up real quick, and let's just wait for your assessment and go from there. That's what we're looking for.
And we will certainly, as soon as we get that back, we will certainly bring it back to the commission. I can't tell you how quickly we are going to move through that. We are working with a partner on this, so hopefully in the next month or so we can bring it back, but maybe a little longer than that. But as soon as we do get it back, we will put it back on the agenda and open it up for discussion.
So, okay.
Does it say in here, WSDOT's doing the assessment, correct?
We have been in talks with them. We're not quite sure what direction they want to go in at this point. We do have a traffic engineer on staff at this point that we can lean on if that's the direction they would like to go, or if they would like to use their staff to do this. It is something that we're asking for So we have been in contact with them and haven't gotten clear direction at this point, but I'm sure within the next couple of days, we will certainly have that and be able to move forward.
Okay.
Thank you for waiting on that.
Yes, you're welcome.
And this is the opportunity to ask those questions, Mr. Dorsey, too. I mean, we want to get it all out here and talk about it, so we know what to do. You okay at this point?
I'm okay.
All
at
right,
this point.
so I would entertain a motion then, just to investigate this possible light issue.
Do we have to make a motion on
We
that?
still are asking, Mayor, that you sign this letter to WashDOT that says that we
Requesting,
would like to
yes.
take a look at this signal.
So, yeah, and we talked about that. We're not saying we're doing it. We just want to look into it.
Correct.
So we don't need a motion at this time. We just concur to move forward, or you want to?
We are asking for a motion
Okay.
to authorize you to sign that letter of support to take
All
a
right.
look at that signal.
Okay.
You want to make, you want
It
to
is a
make,
little bit, okay, I'll read this. I move to allow the city to partner with WSDOT on the removal of the traffic signal. That's the part that I'm not sure about. At First and Cota by authorizing the mayor to sign the letter of support.
Okay, but the letter, so do
The
you
letter
want,
of support
We will
defines.
need to revamp that just a little bit to
We will.
take
You
that
might want to reword
removal
that.
out. Correct.
Okay,
I apologize for
that's
that.
okay.
but the letter, we wrote the letter,
Yes, we would like to assess
So,
yes.
the
right,
possibility of removal
Okay.
for that traffic signal.
right,
So we would just like to amend the motion
yeah, okay.
that you just made.
Yeah, amend the motion.
So who amends the motion?
That
That's
seven-person
you?
council, and they get that seven-person
All right.
council in here, they know how to amend those motions, they'll whip this
Just
thing
don't
right up.
Put the word possible right here. For me, there.
do we need to amend it tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
We would amend the motion to say instead of removal, you will request an assessment of the,
Bingo, you just did it, Vicki.
okay.
But some of you guys,
You can have a second.
yeah, just read.
Yeah, just second her, she said we can just second it.
All right, we'll second that.
Second.
Okay, so a motion is second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. There you go. Thank you very much.
I
Yeah, a lot of-
apologize for the confusion.
No, I just want to make sure that we don't do it right away. Let's just talk about it and get some studies. Okay,